Welcome back to Backspace Academy. So we've set up our CloudFront distribution. It's ready to go. We've also set up our redirecting of www subdomain request to be redirected to our main domain. So we're pretty well set up, ready to go to jump into Amazon Route 53 to start getting requests for our root domain and for our www subdomain through to the CloudFront service or the S3 service. So if we go into CloudFront now, and we can see here, if we have a look at our CloudFront distribution, we can see here there's a section there, domain name. So if we look at that domain name, and if we go to that in our browser, that will actually send us straight to the CloudFront distribution that is located at the edge locations. So we would like to have our custom domain name to automatically get directed straight to this domain. So we need to set that up in Route 53. The other thing is we need to set up is the www subdomain as well. So we've already set that up in the Amazon S3 service to direct to our main domain. So we go into the S3 service. If we go into that that subdomain bucket that we set up with the static hosting, we can see we've got that endpoint there. But if we go to that endpoint, that will automatically direct us to our root domain. Now our root domain, of course, hasn't been set up in Route 53, so it just says site can't be reached. But it did reach the www part because that was set up all okay in Amazon S3. So let's jump into Route 53 and start setting everything up. Now if we go into the Route 53 management console, and it's on the left hand side there, just go into hosted zones. And there we'll find our hosted zone has already been created for us by the Route 53 registrar. And that is just basically the minimum that is required for the Route 53 service to actually do anything at all. So if we just click on that, it'll take us into the record set or the record sets for that hosted zone. So there we can see we've got some name servers set up and a start of authority record set up. What we need to do now is set up some CNAME records that are going to get requests for our domain and our www domain and start directing them to either the CloudFront distribution or to the S3 service to redirect it to the root domain. So to create this record set, we need to go to Create Record Set. Now we leave name blank because what we're doing is we're directing requests for our root domain. We leave type, we leave that is as a IPv4 address, but we're going to change alias to yes. Okay, so we're going to put in as our alias target will be the domain name. Okay, so that's going to be our domain name for our CloudFront distribution. So we're just going to put that in there. And we'll click on Create. And there we can see it's put in that A record for us for the alias. It is pointing to our CloudFront distribution. So after a certain amount of time, that will propagate across the internet, and it will pick that up when we type in our root domain. So we'll just try that now and see if it's propagated. And there we can see, so we've done a request through our browser to backspaceacademy.com. It's gone back to the root, it's gone through the Route 53 service, and it's gone to the CloudFront distribution, which has displayed our website. So that is working and working perfectly. So now we need to do is set up our www because that shouldn't be working. And there we can see, so if we go to www, which a lot of people do, it comes up with site cannot be reached, which we don't want to have from a user experience perspective. So let's go in and change that. We want to set up now a CNAME to point to our static website that is redirecting to our root domain. So again, if we go into the Amazon S3 service and go into that www domain, and then we can go into the properties and then go into static website hosting, and that will come up with our endpoint that we need to get. So you can just grab that endpoint, except for the HTTP at the start. We just copy that and bring that over to Route 53. So let's create another record set. Now this record set is going to be for the www subdomain. It's not going to be an A record, it's going to be a CNAME record. So you use the A record for your Apex domain, but your subdomain, you will use a CNAME for that. It's not an alias this time. And all we need to do now is just get that domain for our static website that's going to be redirecting to our root domain, and we just put that in there. So that's our S3 static website that is really just redirecting back to our root domain, and we just create that now, and that's all done. So we've got our backspaceacademy.com root domain set up, and that will be going directly to our CloudFront distribution. The www subdomain will be going through to the S3 service, which will then redirect it through to the CloudFront service. If you've followed us this far, you've done a fantastic job, because we've covered a hell of a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time, and that's what a nutshell is all about. You don't want to waste time with long, boring videos. You want to just get to the point and get yourself up and running as quickly as possible. And I think we've achieved that. So you have those course notes, so please refer to those and keep those as your reference when you're doing this yourself. So if you're considering using a WordPress blog or something like that, then maybe consider using a static site generator for that blog and host it on a infrastructure like this.